Okay, this is part 67 of Nos4a2. Oops. The bedroom. Vic said she needed to rest, asked if she could lie down for a while, and Hunter said, of course, that she wasn't going to do anyone any good by driving herself to collapse. In the bedroom, though, Lou was the one who flung himself down on the bed. Vic couldn't relax. She went to the blinds, picked them apart, looked out at the carnival in her front yard. The night was full of the chatter of radios, the murmur of male voices. Someone out there laughed softly. It was a wonder to think that less than 100 paces from the house it was possible for happiness to exist. If any of the policemen in the street noticed her looking, they probably imagined she was gazing blankly up the road, hoping, pitifully, for a cruiser to come roaring down it, lights flashing, sirens splitting the air, her son in the back seat. Safe. Coming home. His lips sticky and pink with the ice cream the cops had bought him. But she wasn't looking at the road, hoping with all her heart that someone was going to bring Wayne back to her. If anyone was going to bring him back, it was her. Vic was staring at the Triumph lying right where she had dropped it. Lou was heaved on the bed like a beached manatee. When he spoke, he addressed the ceiling. Will you come stretch out with me for a while? Just be here with me? She dropped the blinds and went to the bed. She put her leg over his legs and clasped herself to his side, as she had not done in years. You know that guy who looks like Mick Ronnie's mean twin brother, Daltrey? He said you were hurt. And she realized he hadn't heard the story. No one had told him what had happened to her. She told it again. At first she was only repeating what she told Hunter and the other detectives. Already the story had the quality of lines learned for a part in a play. She could recite them without thinking. But then she told him about taking the Triumph for a short run and realized she didn't have to leave out the part about the bridge. She could and should tell him about discovering the shorter way in the mist because it had happened. Really happened. I saw the bridge, she said quietly, lifting herself up to look into his face. I rode onto it, Lou. I went looking for it, and there it was. Do you believe me? I believed you the first time you told me about it. You fucking liar, she said, but she couldn't help smiling at him. He reached out and put his hand on the swell of her left breast. Why wouldn't I believe you? It explains you better than anything. And if I'm like that poster on the wall, the X-Files, I want to believe. Story of my life, lady. Go on. You rode across the bridge. Then what? I didn't ride across it. I got scared. Really scared, Lou. I thought it was a hallucination. That I was off my nut again. I slammed on the brakes so hard that pieces came flying off the bike. She told him about turning the Triumph around and walking it off the bridge, her eyes shut and her legs shaking. She described how it had sounded in the shorter way, the shush and roar, as if she stood behind a waterfall. She said she knew it was gone when she couldn't hear that sound anymore, and then it was a long walk back home. Vic went on, telling how Mannix and the other man were waiting for her, how Mannix had come for her with his hammer. Lou was not a stoic. He flinched and twitched and cursed. When she told him about using the tappet key on Mannix's face, he said, I wished you'd skull-fucked him with that thing. She assured him she had tried her best. He thumped a fist on his own leg when she got to the part about the gas mask man shooting Mannix in the ear. Lou listened with his whole body, a kind of quivering tautness in him, like a bow pulled to its limit, the arrow ready to fly. He did not interrupt her, though, until she got to the part where she was running downhill for the lake, to escape them. That's what you were doing when Wayne called? He asked. What happened to you at the airport? Really? What I said. I got faint. He rolled his head as if to loosen his neck. Then he said, The map, with the road to Christmasland. What is that place? I don't know. It's not in our world, though, right? I don't know. I kind of think it is our world. A version of it, anyway. The version of it that Charlie Mannix carries around in his head. Everyone lives in two worlds, right? There's the physical world. But there's also our own private inner worlds. The world of our thoughts. A world made of ideas instead of stuff. It's just as real as our worlds, but it's inside. It's an inscape. Everyone has an inscape, and they're all connected too, in the same way New Hampshire connects to Vermont. And maybe some people can ride into that thought world if they have the right vehicle. A key, a car, a bike, whatever. How can your thought world connect to mine? I don't know, but But, like, if Keith Richards dreams up a song and then you hear it on the radio, you've got his thoughts in your head. My ideas can get in your head just as easily as a bird can fly across the state line. Lou frowned and said, so, like, somehow Mannix drives kids out of the world of stuff and into his own private world of ideas? Okay, I can go with that. It's weird, but I can go with it. So get back to your story. The guy wearing the gas mask had a gun. And Vic told him about diving into the water, and the gas mask man shooting, and then Mannix talking to her while she hid under the float. When she was done, she shut her eyes, nestled her face into Lou's neck. She was exhausted, beyond exhausted, really, had traveled to some new precinct of weariness. The gravity was lighter in this new world. She had not been tethered to Lou. She would have floated away. He wants you to come looking, Lou said. I can find him, she said. I can find this house of sleep. I told you. I rode to the bridge before I fucked up the bike. Probably through the chain. You're lucky you kept it shiny side up. She opened her eyes and said, You have to fix it, Lou. You have to fix it tonight, as fast as you can. Tell Hunter and the police you can't sleep. Tell them you need to do something to take your mind off things. People react to stress in strange ways, and you're a mechanic. They won't question you. Mannix tells you to come find him. What do you think he's going to do to you when you do? He ought to be thinking about what I'm going to do to him. And what if he's not at this house of sleep? Will the bike take you to him wherever he is, even if he's moving? I don't know, Vic said, but she thought, no. She was not sure where the certainty came from, how she could know such a thing, but she did. She recalled, distantly, that she had gone looking for a lost cat once. Taylor, she thought, and was sure she had found him only because he was dead. If he had been alive and on the prowl, the bridge wouldn't have had an anchor point to settle on. It could cross a distance between lost and found, but only if what was lost stayed put. Lou saw the doubt in her face, and she went on. It doesn't matter anyway. Mannix has to stop sometime, doesn't he? To sleep? To eat? In truth, she wasn't sure he needed either food or rest. He had died, been autopsied, had his heart removed, then got up and walked away whistling. Who knew what such a man required? Perhaps thinking of him as a man at all was operating from the wrong assumptions. And yet, he bled. He could be hurt. She had seen him pale and staggered. She thought at the very least he would need to recover himself, settle and slumber for a while, same as any wounded creature. His license plate was a joke or boast, Nos4a2, German word for vampire, an acknowledgement at some level of what he was. But in the stories, even vampires crawled back to their coffins and shut the lid now and then. She pushed these ideas aside and finished. Sooner or later, he'll have to stop for something, and when he does, I can get to him. You asked me if I thought you were crazy with all your stuff about the bridge, and I said no. But this part of it is pretty crazy. Using the bike to find your way to him so he can polish you off, finish the job he started this morning. It's all we've got, she glanced toward the door. And Lou, this is the only way we will get Wayne back. These people can't find him. I can. Are you going to fix it? He sighed, a great unsteady exhalation of air, and said, I'll try, Vic. I'll try. On one condition. What's that? When I get it fixed, Lou said, you take me with you.